Well, what's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity build a video. Today we're going to be talking about what you need to make when you are trying to make money and what you should be making when you're trying to rebuild your inventory. So a lot of people have trouble with, what to be producing for coins, what they should be selling, what they should be keeping. And honestly, it's not that surprising considering that this game is entirely 100% item based, right? So the previous SimCities were basically about population and taxes. That's how you generated your income. This one, not so much. This one is about building items. Those items are then, used for epic projects to speed up your time in which you can build items. You have your inventory space, you have the global market, you have all these things that intertwine with this system. And I think a lot of people don't realize just how complex this system really is. And so they have a hard time understanding kind of the best way to go about managing it, right? Before we begin, I want to go ahead and let you guys know some updated information with the channel. One, we have recently rearranged our Discord to have all kinds of different channels for you guys to conversate on, for questions, for joining Neverland, because we do have some spots available. We have a SimCity Build It Facebook group. Okay, so there's a lot of you guys in that group. The group's only, a year old? So if you have anybody that you play SimCity with that you want to add to that group, great. We recently started a rare giveaway. We're going to do it once a month. But basically how it works is anybody who adds I follow MissyAnne on YouTube to their city description or something of that nature to promote the channel, I'm going to screenshot if I see your city description on the global market. Anybody in my group, all the members of my group are out there when they're on the global market, they're watching for city descriptions. They're going to snap a screenshot, and then you'll be entered in to win some coins and rares and stuff like that. Okay? So basically, hit the like and subscribe button, and let's go ahead and begin. So when you open up the SimCity Build It production doc, which is included in the description of the YouTube video, and it's also in your mentoring doc, which is also in the description down below, you're going to see this layout if you're on a cell phone. Okay, so what you can do is you can click these three dots, and you're going to hit print layout, and it's going to rearrange everything to have a better layout for you rather than the Android crunched up version, which is just a nightmare to have to navigate. Okay, so basically what we did was we calculated up what items it would be, what items would be most beneficial to make on a realistic gameplay, meaning you do sleep, right? So you're not going to be able to sit there in front of your building supply store all hours of the day and produce nails, which would definitely be, very profitable, but it's not realistic to just sit there for 24 hours straight and just make nails, right? Okay. So based on a realistic gameplay, a 16-hour day, and an 8-hour sleep, basically what we did was we went through each and every store and we had to calculate up which items were the highest in profit. Once we did that, we had to calculate up the materials that went into those items, right? Because a lot of those materials are not something that you can just get. A lot of them are things that you have to make yourself. And if you're making an item in another shop to produce an item over here, it may not be as profitable as you think it is. So making this guide was actually very complex and difficult. It took a while. We believe that we have arranged it in which we're making the maximum for a realistic gameplay. Okay? Now, could you arrange it to where one shop makes more money than it's producing right this very minute? Yes, but you would lose money elsewhere. Okay, so the best example that I'm going to use is the burger example. Do not make burgers, and I'll explain why you should not make burgers. They're an absolute ripoff. One, they don't sell, so they just clog up your inventory. Two, you can sell them to the bubbles that pop up, but if you're going to do that, honestly, you would be better off buying the burgers, which is what burger farming is. Burger farming and producing burgers is two totally separate things. producing burgers is an absolute ripoff, being that when you produce flour and donuts, okay, you yield a excellent profit in your donut shop and in your barn. Well, when you have to make burgers, you have to produce cream, beef, bread rolls, which means flour, okay? Then you have to produce the barbecues, which takes time out of producing shovels and hammers. So you're losing money in your hardware store by doing the spatulas. Then you're losing money in your appliance store where you would normally be making TVs, but because now you're producing barbecues. You're losing money in your fashion store because you no longer are making tape measures for caps. You're losing money in your furniture store because you're not making hammers for chairs and you're not making tapes for blue text. You know, you lose money in your garden store because you're unable to make anything in your building supply store because you have to constantly be dealing with making beef, cream, flour, spatulas, barbecues, the whole 9 yards. Okay? So about the only store that you really do have left available would be the building supply store. So you would have like the nails and things like that you could still make. Now, I mean, does that sound profitable to you? So just because an item sells for the most money in the game does not mean it yields the highest turnover, the highest profit, right? For example, nails. Those cost, 2 metal to make a nail, right? And that is something you can make in 1 minute's time. You can sell 5 nails for 400 coins, and they sell instantly. That's a hell of a profit. That is the most profitable item in the game, okay? Now, when you think about it, a lot of people don't make nails, but if they did, they would turn over a good profit. Now they say, well, it's tedious. It is tedious, but if you're on the game every 44 minutes, then you can do it. Because if you have all 11 slots in your building supplies store, right, you're going to produce 1 nail every 4 minutes at a star 3 shop. That's every 44 minutes you would be refilling your shop. So it's a great way to earn coins. Now, what items should you be producing per shop to earn the maximum amount while, being able to not lose money elsewhere? That's what we did. That is what is in this production guide. So here, assuming you have all items unlocked and assuming that you're running on a star 3 shop, that's what this building guide represents. Now, we do have one for lower level players that are around level 18. We also provided you guys with charts that give you guys the times and the discounts and how many you can make and the tokens. And I'm going to explain all that right now, how all that works. So basically, here where you read farmer's market, barn, this is how you're going to run your stuff. Okay, a lot of people, when you look up the production guides, it just tells you, what an item sells for, how much you earn per minute, and what the material cost is, right? Well, it doesn't really tell you what to produce, though. And just because, like I said, you're producing one item in one shop doesn't mean that, well, if I produce this and this, then I would save money and I would yield more profit. So basically for daytime, you're going to produce 40 flour equals 960 minutes. So what that means is all day long in your barn, you are running flour. Okay, at nighttime, so just before bed, you're going to put 6 melons in your queue, and you're going to then put 2 flour. That's 480 minutes. Those 6 melons, okay, are then used to make pink drinks in the fast food store. The 40 flour are then used to produce donuts on the following day, all right? The 2 extra flour is used to make pizza if you can buy the beef and the cheese. You do not want to cut into your production by making beef and cheese. So this is the best way for you guys to run your barn if you're talking maximum profits, okay? Now, if you look here, it appears as though a smoothie yields a better profit than, let's say, oh, sorry, we're not on that shop. Here. It appears as though a smoothie yields the highest profit, right? If you buy the materials and versus if you produce the materials. So PMV buy is per minute value purchased materials. PMV prod is production, okay? So that's how much you yield per minute if you produce all the materials that go into making a smoothie. This is another example of why simply just looking at these numbers here is not good enough, right? Because you're not looking at what goes into the smoothie versus what goes into the donuts. For example, it appears as though, like I said, that a smoothie does yield a higher profit, and it does. But why am I telling you not to make smoothies? Well, look at what you have to make in order to make a smoothie. You have to make, one, seeds, okay? Which, not a big deal. So you make the seeds, and now you're making veggies, okay? Then you have to make melons. Now, in order to make those melons, you have to make saps. In order to make the saps, you have to make shovels. Now, how many melons do you think that you can produce in, let's just say, a 960-minute day? Not as many as you can produce in smoothies. The smoothies make very quickly. So given that you can't produce 40 melons in a day, then we're talking about, are you going to be able to produce 40 flour and make what? I think it's 38 donuts versus a couple of smoothies. Because you're not making smoothies all day long. You can't make enough melons to make that many smoothies. So even though it appears as though that is what you should make, that's not how it works. Then you're also losing money elsewhere. You're losing money in your donut shop. So now, or not your donut shop, your hardware, the shovel store. You're also losing money in your garden shop, okay? So every shop that you look at, you have to say, okay, in this shop, this may be the highest profitable item, but can I make it realistically? Now, what if I buy certain materials versus make them? Would that change the way I do things? Oh, it absolutely would. And that is why this production plan was so difficult to make. Because now, again, with the realistic mindset here, do you really think that you're going to be able to find 40 melons a day on the global market? Probably not, right? Okay, so that's not realistic. Now, mathematically, yeah, it yields a higher profit, but realistically to the game in itself, no, you can't do it that way. So it's very important that when you sit down and you do these calculations, that you're somebody who actually plays the game and understands the global market. You understand all the dynamics of the game. Okay, that being said, now you're producing what is supposed to be, the most profitable. Under every single shop, we have listed exactly what you should produce and how you're going to produce it. This is 100% based on what you can make, all the materials that you can make, okay? If we are telling you to buy something, it is something that is easily obtained on the global market. So when you go through this entire document, you're going to look here and it's going to tell you exactly what you're producing in the daytime and what you're producing at nighttime. It doesn't get much easier than that. Now I'm going to explain to you what the digits mean on the charts. So here we have items per hour and build times per level on your shop, okay? So here, basically what this means is that every single shop is at a certain time discount, right? So you have the base time, you have star 1, which is a 10% discount. You have star 2, which is a 15, and star 3, which is a 20% time discount, okay? The build time is the times next to it based on the shop. So at, let's say, a 3-star shop, which would be the 20, the negative 20, we can produce 1.67 of a donut, or donuts, I should say. So one donut and then 0.67 of donut number 2. The build time for a level 3 shop is 36 minutes in total. So if you look here, build time for 20%, that would be the 3-star shop. That would mean that it's 36 minutes, okay? If you want a base level shop, you produce one donut every 45 minutes. And if you want to know what you're going to produce on a token, this is probably the easiest way that you can get that information, okay? It looks so much more complex than it actually is. So let's say that you are having to make something for the Contest of Mayors and you want to know how many you can produce on a token so that you don't have to waste, let's say, silver tokens if it's not going to be enough. So let's say that you have a star 3 shop and you want to know how many coffee you can produce on a gold token. So what you would do is you would go to the coffee column, you would locate wherever the star 3 shop time discount is, which would be negative 20. So we would go all the way over here, okay? Coffee is the second one up from the bottom. Now, below here, see where it says times 2 times, 4 times, 12 times. This is a 20% time discount shop. So this is a star 3 shop with a 2 times production speed increase. So that would be bronze. 4 times production speed would be silver, and then the 12 times would be gold. So if we're going second from the bottom, that means that with a star 3 shop on a gold token, we can produce exactly 16 coffee. Okay? So let's try that again. If you want to make donuts and you have a star 2 shop and you want to know how many you can produce on a gold token, star 2 shop is the 15 time discount on a gold token. Which one's donuts? Donuts is the top one here. So 18.82 is how many donuts you can produce on a gold token with the star 2 with the star 2 shop. Okay? That's how you read those. Tells you up here 10% time discount, it equals 1 star, 15 is 2 star, 20% is 3 stars. So everything that you need to know right there. Building supply store. You have options here depending on how much time you're going to spend on the game. If you're able to actually sit there, then you can produce nails. Okay? So after you go through each and every shop and what we've listed to be the most profitable, you're going to get to the bottom of the production guide here. And this is your factory times. Okay? Let's see. So here in the production plan, this is the total items sold from this production plan. So at the end of the day, okay, everything that you have produced based on the shops that we've listed, you should end with 40 donuts, 198 nails if you chose option 1, or 60 bricks. I can't remember if we told you guys to make cement or bricks. I think we added option 3 into there. Then we have gnomes, chairs, caps, all this, TVs. You can either make TVs or bulbs depending on your materials. The TVs are just slightly higher in profit, but some people like making bulbs better. Basically, you're going to yield 117,000 every 24 hours on this production plan. Okay, so now here is a list of items that you should always purchase on the global market when you see them. Cream and rolls, beef, cheese, flour for pizza. The cream and the rolls, if you can buy those, they are an excellent moneymaker for ice cream. Okay? So anytime that you see bread rolls or cream, purchase it. Now, if you have to produce those items, it's not going to be profitable to you. But ice cream does yield a very good profit. It's just the materials to make them is just a nightmare. Same thing with pizza. Pizza yields an excellent profit too if you don't have to make the beef and the cheese. If you can buy that stuff and make the flour, yeah, you're doing great. Okay. Melons for both smoothies and pink lemonades turn a good profit. However, because you have donuts making full-time in your donut shop, you don't want to screw up your donut production when you have an open fast food shop to make pink drinks. If your fast food shop is full and you have several extra melons that you have purchased, then you can interrupt your donut production to produce smoothies as they turn a higher profit than donuts. The reason we choose to make donuts over the smoothies is because you can make more money making flour and donuts versus making shovels to make saps, saps to make melons, and veggies to make smoothies. Only make smoothies over pink drinks if you have a lot of extra melons and veggies, okay? Now, here's the thing with this. You have to determine what the items are worth to you in terms of coin versus item, right? So what a lot of people make the mistake of doing in this game is they sell the wrong stuff. And when they sell the wrong stuff, they have to replace that stuff. And when they replace that stuff, it's usually not easy because it's usually something that they can't find on the global market. So let me explain it to you like this. Let's say that you spend all week playing the Contest of Mayors and you're broke at the end of the week. So what you do is you decide that you're going to take the day off from the Contest of Mayors and you're going to make back all the stuff that you just sold. So you just sat there and you sold all of your ladders, paint, melons, whatever, to get quick coins right now. And now you are trying to scramble to make back all of those items that you sold to bring your coins up. The reason that that was a very stupid thing to do is because now you're yielding items that don't turn a good profit. So what actually you should have done is kept all of your good items and tried to replenish your inventory after you ran the production plan. So ideally what you want to do is you want to produce the items that turn the highest turnover rate for coins and then keep the items that don't turn a good profit. All you did was sell your good items and then now you have to make items that are less profitable to replace inventory you already had, just to have a little bit of coins right this very minute, when you should have just said, you know what, I might be broke right now, but I have all my inventory and I'm going to make items that actually produce money. So you end up with more money at the end of the day, and now you don't have to try to figure out how to replace all the crap that you just sold. That is literally the stupidest thing that people do, and they do it all the time. Right after an epic project, for example, they just unload all their stuff to make back for the coins that they, spent. And in reality, you should not be doing that. You should just keep certain products and make certain products for profit. Now, what items should you be producing for profit versus holding on to? What items should you be producing to hold on to? That kind of stuff. Well, that's what this is. We're telling you that there's two ways that you can run your production. You can run your production for item replacement, replenishing inventory, or you run production for making coins. That is the secret to it, okay? You don't sell items you should keep and then have to make those items back. That is not a good way to do things. A lot of people will ask people, well, what items do you make? And then the person, well, I make everything. Okay, well, if you only have one city to hold everything on, that's kind of a problem, right? So ideally what you want to do is you want to buy certain things, make certain things for profit. There's certain things that you just do not sell, okay? Paint is one of those things. Microwaves, those are things that you don't sell. They don't yield good profit. It costs you more to make them than it would to make something else where you could actually make some money. Now, the thing being is that when you're in a group, it's a little bit different. You're selling items to people that are going to help you when you're in a jam. So like in our group, for example, we have items that we consider to be global items and then items that we consider to be group items. When our group goes on the global market, it's because they're selling what we call money makers, okay? So it should have chairs, caps, blue text, donuts, nails, those kinds of things. That caps, I think I said caps, those items are what you would be producing to make coin. If I go to somebody's depot in my group and they have paint and ladders and things like that, they're not selling that stuff because they need the coins. They're selling that stuff to help other people in the group. So it's not there for one person to just raid, right? So in our group, if somebody wants to go global and they have something like ladders or paint or melons, saps, things like that, they will say, hey, can somebody rescue the good items? And then I can go global with the money makers, right? That makes it so much easier for everybody. Now, let's say that you can't find paint, right? And you need some for the contest of mayors. You're going to have to make it if you can't find it. That being said, that's going to have to interrupt your production. When that interrupts your production, that is when you are now running your production for replenishing inventory. There's two ways that you run production. One is to make coin and one is to replenish inventory. You do not mix the two. You don't say, well, you know what? I replenished my inventory and now I'm going to sell these items to make coin. Never, ever, ever do that. Okay? Separate them. So the items listed above in the shops that we've told you to, produce and what we told you to produce, make those your selling items. Everything else that you make that is not on that list is for you to keep or to sell to club members when they need help. And that should be because they do the same for you. Okay? Think of it like, look at pretty much anything that you can't obtain on the global market, there's probably a reason for that. One, it has high demand, and two, it has a low profit. So people would rather buy it than produce it. And if they would rather buy it than produce it, then there's probably a reason for that, right? Okay. Don't just produce items because they sell for more money. Something selling for more money does not mean it makes you more money, right? You can have an item that sells for $10,000 but takes you 10 hours to make versus an item that sells for $1,000 and takes you 1 minute to make. That's kind of what you're dealing with here when it comes to like nails or whatever versus burgers or something. A lot of people see that it's the highest priced item in the game, so they just assume that that means that it yields the most profit. And in fact, it does not. Okay? So it's all about balancing your storage, balancing your shops. Literally, people always complain, why does the global market not have a search feature? This is why. It would destroy the game. If you could just search for any item that you needed, there would be no reason to have a high storage capacity. What reason would anybody have to upgrade their storage when they could just go and look for whatever it is that they need whenever they need it? You see what I'm saying? Whereas now, you know that you may not be able to find it when you need it, so you have to store it. If you didn't have to do that, then there would be no reason to store anything. If you didn't have any difficulty locating items, then epic projects would just be simple. And honestly, what reason would you really have to produce epics when you can just find whatever you needed, so you would have less reasoning to want to speed up production, right? I mean, having a few would be nice, but you wouldn't need as many as you do now. So you really have to look at the game is 100% item based. What are you willing to give to accomplish a house upgrade? Are you willing to give these materials? If not, you refresh those materials being asked. Are you willing to, do this assignment now to take less points, or are you going to wait the time and get more points? You see what I'm saying? So everything is about time and items. Manage your time, manage your items, and you will be doing so much better in the game. But until you get your stuff sorted out, until you get your storage management figured out, and you hold the right stuff and you produce the right stuff, you will always struggle, okay? When you're just constantly producing everything that you need and never buying anything from the global market, well, you're not going to be accomplishing very much either, right? You also have to take into consideration cost for in-game stuff. You know, people don't understand this at all. When it comes to war stuff, when you play war, if you're not doing it because you enjoy the entertainment of war, then you are literally taking your coins and throwing them out the window. You're turning items into war items, which most war items sell for 1,000 coins. People then don't realize that, I had a guy tell me this one time. He's like, well, when I do my deliveries, I try to make it to where I don't exceed the 1,000 that I get in the war items, so I end up just equaling out. No, because you're still destroying the war item, so it's still costing you money. He didn't understand that. You know, he was like, well, I have 1,000 coins here, that $1,000 worth of production items that he converted to a war item, which he then later used to get war points. Those war points get accumulated up. They stack up for prizes in the war, which are what? War-based items. So cards, boosters, war simoleons. So you literally just turned items and or coins, pretty much items, okay, into war stuff. So basically look at it, once you cancel out all the converting to, you know, war items and then attacking somebody and all that, look at the money that was spent. Let's say that you spent $500,000 worth of inventory. Look at the end of the war. What did you obtain at the end of the war for your $500,000 worth of inventory? Some war cards. To do what with? To play more war, right? Woohoo! It's literally taking a torch to your time. Now, the only way that that's going to be worth it to you is if you actually enjoy war specifically. If you're not actually really enjoying it, in terms of profitable towards gameplay, in terms of it being beneficial or successful, it is absolutely not. The only way that war is successful in SimCity is if you're doing it for the contest of mayors only. That is the only way. And that is because if you do it right, you can actually win the contest of mayors. So until you guys get all aspects of the game sorted out, where you're spending your production items, what you're giving them to, if you're doing airport deliveries outside of the contest of mayors, stop that, okay? Those are a ripoff. If you're just launching anything on the VU tower and repairing, stop that. You have to launch like the Meteor 3, okay? That's easy items. If you are doing house upgrades and it's asking for a whole bunch of items, just because you have it and you don't want to deal with searching for other items, doesn't mean that you should do the upgrade for some astronomical price. Refresh the building materials. Don't just, oh, okay, it's asking for, 5 robes and 10 paint and 14 gnomes or something. Like, it's ridiculous. Refresh it. Don't pay astronomical prices for the same thing based on waiting 30 more seconds if you have a video ad, or 30 minutes if you don't. Okay? Just, it's all about managing. It really is. And until you guys have some structure, it's going to be complete chaos. That is what most people face, is that they don't have a system. A lot of people have a routine, but that routine is usually pretty chaotic. It's usually like, okay, I usually make this stuff and I sell this stuff, but I have no rhyme or reason for what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. And I'm always broke. So until you break that cycle, until you change your goals and arrange things, you're gonna just constantly be struggling, always. Okay, so watch my production plan video, watch my storage management video. I promise you, you will be just fine. I also have a video on how to make 1,000,000 coins. That is definitely something that you're going to want to watch. It talks about managing all of your stuff. You know, you have to buckle down. Basically this, okay? Get your production line, making items that produce a profit. Stop buying on the global market. Stop selling items you should be holding on to. Start using your tokens on the right items to be producing, okay? It'll make a huge difference in your gameplay, I promise.